Yes, I love storytelling. I love it. And yeah, probably even like when I was a kid, I liked to tell stories, like as we all did actually. And especially when it comes to lead, for me, I always think that it's a bit like telling a story to a kid. It's intimate. It's incredible, and you have to put like a different color, a different shade on every single word, and you can create magic.
Good morning, Gaja. It's so great to see you here on Zoom.
Good morning. Great to see you.
Well, we've met before at the Steinway event, and it was so lovely to be able to talk to you. And you're a great friend of Sarai.
Yes, we are.
Did you study together?
Not really. We met through a mutual friend, and we became really good friends.
Oh, wonderful. But you are also from Italy.
Yes, I'm also from Italy, not from Roma, as Sarai. I'm from the northeast, from Udine. I don't know if you have been there.
Okay. So and that's where your singing started?
Yes, yes.
So how old were you when you started singing?
I mean, when I started singing opera, I was 15, but when I started singing, like, had a hobby, let's say, I was much younger, when I was at primary school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then...
And you also, you always loved singing? Or did you play a different instrument as well?
Well, I started when I was 7 years old by playing violin. But the violin teacher would also let us sing while playing. So everything kind of started together. Yes.
And then you discovered that you love singing.
Yes. And yeah, I kind of probably one of the first, let's say, operatic things I did sing was like an aria from The Phantom of the Opera, which is a musical, but still quite operatic. And now I remember that once my mom made me sing this aria in front of my violin teacher, and she kind of gave me my first singing feedback, even though she wasn't a singer, but still a musician can tell a lot.
And then did you decide then you wanted to sing opera?
Actually, I started to take like serious singing lessons when I was 11 or 12, but I was singing I was just singing pop music, covers from pop stars and stuff like that. But when I was 15, I started feeling that wasn't enough for me. And I'm lucky because my aunt is a singer as well, an opera singer as well. And so once I went to her and I just said, let's give it a try. And I never stopped.
Oh, wow. And she could then see she could then know that you've got the right voice, or you have the passion for it.
Yeah, I always had the passion. And as my mom always says, I was quite a loud baby screaming. So probably I had enough decibels since a young age. But yeah, I mean, she could see that I had a voice. Of course, it's development, and it's still in progress. It's always in progress, I guess. Forever progress.
Yeah, I recently spoke to also to opera singers who they're teaching for the London Performing Academy of Music, and they also talked about this, how the voice changes and how the voice changes with age, the voice changes with mood, with times in your life and situations and so on. So it's something that is just continually where you have to understand the voice?
It's a good question. Actually, once I've heard from a great singer, if you know Barbara Frittoli, that voice kind of changes every 7 years. And it's like kind of a voice cycle. And it's quite interesting because, of course, our body, it's our instrument and it changes with time. We do age, and hormones are also like having a super huge impact on voice, especially when it comes to us women. And yes, it's a very, very, very interesting topic actually, because we have to discover ourselves every day, and every day it's different because maybe you wake up in a different way and you must figure out how to make things work. But it's also what I love about the progress of being a singer.
Is it sometimes frustrating when that happens, that you say one day or 1 week, where your voice does a certain thing and then suddenly things change?
Actually, I try to be nice to myself. If I don't have to sing and I don't feel like singing, I just don't sing, because I feel like we should listen more to our bodies and also our minds, because we are not machines. And if you have an important audition or competition or concert, whatever, you should try to make things work. And everybody has something like that might help, a ritual, or like maybe making some sport, or trying to relax in some way. But like in everyday life, when I don't have performances, I don't have auditions, I just try to really feel and understand what I'm feeling and follow that, because otherwise we would get crazy, I guess.
Yeah. But it's for me very interesting that at your young age that you already have that sort of acceptance of it. That you think, okay, yeah, that's fine, and there's no pressure and there's no rush to achieve anything.
Yes, at least this is my way of of living things, also in like other fields of my life, my private life, because I don't want to be stressed and I don't want to live like that. So I try to make things work in my way. But I know that probably my way doesn't work for someone else, because I have a lot of friends. They need to have a routine. They need to have a schedule. They need to like exercises every day, and that makes them feel well. But this could never work with me, because if I wake up and I don't feel like singing, I just don't sing. It would be worse for me singing when I don't feel like singing. Even though it's my, let's say, profession, it can't be that I wake up every day wanting to sing. Maybe today I wake up and I want to cook something, or to sew something, or to knit something, or to go for a walk. And why should I force myself to sing? We can't be obsessed about our profession. Otherwise, at least for me, that wouldn't never work.
That's so true, because you put attention also then on your voice, or you put attention on yourself.
Yes, on our mind, on our body, on our everything, and the people surrounding us. And it's difficult to not to bring work home, because we are our own instrument. We can't. Maybe a pianist can forget about his instrument because it's external, but we are our own instrument. We, even if we wouldn't want that, but if we go out for drinks with friends and we know that we have to sing the day after, we are like a bit concerned, scared. And this doesn't help, because then if you're scared, the day after, you're not going to have a voice. But the time that you relax, sing, you enjoy your life and your private time, because we need that. You're not going to lose your voice. I proved that for myself, because when I had times when I stressed out, I would say, oh no, today I'm not going to attending this event because tomorrow I have to sing. And then the day after, of course, if you stress, your voice stressed as well, and you can't sing well. But if you relax your body and your mind, of course, maybe going to the club is not the right thing because, it's loud and you would scream and everything. And this can't work, actually, even if you relax. But yes, just attending an event or a dinner or whatever can just nourish your soul and your everything. It's,
No, exactly. And what was I going to say? But it's great because you're studying also. I read that you're studying leader, or that you have an interest in singing leader.
Yes, actually, I just graduated from Leeds, so I'm done with my master's and my university experience, let's say. But yes, I do love lead and art songs in general, not only the German lead, because it's very, very, very interesting to me to see how those composers could tell a whole story in just few lines, few bars, because it's literally poetry in music. And it's, for me, it's incredible because yes, it's like a small cameo, how we say in Italian, but it's a small treasure and it can be like a magical experience. And
but it's also very intimate. I mean, it's also the whole performance of leaders always very intimate, smaller audiences.
Yes, that's true. But it can be also with bigger audiences, because I remember when I attended the Liederabend by René Fleming at the Musikverein, it was
huge,
quite a huge venue, and still it was kind of intimate. It's more about the atmosphere, and I love it. I actually had more Liederabend than opera's concert performances.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I've spoken to some opera singers who say that like something like that, like a recital or a Liederabend, it's very sort of you're very close to the audience, and it's almost how can I say, it's almost easier if you do an opera where you sing a role, where you can go into character, where you have the costume, where with something like leader, it's you and it's just you and the piano, or and how do you find that? Do you have a lot of confidence to be able to be on stage, so all by yourself and sing?
So actually, it's true. Also, for me, singing an opera is easier because you have your scene, you have your costume, your everything. You did a lot of rehearsals, and it's kind of easier to get to know the character that you have to portray. When it comes to recitals, it's different. What I like most is to build up a program that has a sense and a theme, and it can kind of become let's say, a small opera itself. It's, of course, it's not an opera, but if you have a theme, a leitmotif or whatever, it's in a way you can build up a show, and then you feel less like, let's say, the recital stress. And yes, it's like also all the research work behind it. I'm a fan of it. I can spend hours looking for new repertoire and like finding connections between very different composers and building up stories. And it's a really interesting process, actually.
And you're saying that now, so you love the storytelling, or you like that part of it, that sort of, that, how can I say, that basic storytelling.
Yes, I love storytelling. I love it. And yeah, probably even like when I was a kid, I liked to tell stories, like as we all did actually. And especially when it comes to lead, for me, I always think that it's a bit like telling a story to a kid. It's intimate. It's incredible, and you have to put like a different color or a different shade on every single word, and you can create magic.
But do you believe in talking to the audience, you know, like giving the audience a background before you start singing, or say in a program like that, would you talk to the audience, for example?
Well, usually I don't directly talk, but with my duo partner, actually, we did even kind of lectures, and he would explain a bit the program before or like in the middle of the concert. And people do appreciate that because, of course, many things you don't listen to every day, because maybe we find like a rare art song or a rare song from a female composer, which is never performed, or at least not often. And it's interesting to get some information. So of course, it be a monologue, but at least some hints, I think, are always appreciated.
I think it's for me as a non-musician, it's always, because you don't always know, and like you said, you really go into it and study it and find the links and so on. So it's always nice for me, for example, to hear something like that, you know, or to even just, if the setting is explained, you know, of what the atmosphere is around the music.
Yes, I guess I get that. It's probably more an interesting experience when you are really conscious about what you're listening to. Because of course we can't know everything, and sometimes we need someone to explain us.
But Gaja, you mentioned before that you do sewing, and I saw on Instagram that you actually do sewing. I love it.
Well, it's actually kind of a recent hobby. I got my first sewing machine 1.5 years ago. And I can't say that I'm really good at it, because I'm self-taught. Nobody ever really taught me how to, but I love it. And it's the first hobby I'm like kind of constant at, because usually I would just start doing something and then change. But I find it very, very relaxing in a way. I know also other colleagues, they do maybe crochet, knit, and I also did that. And some of them, they even do that backstage to just stop thinking. And I feel like doing something with your hands, that can be anything actually, cooking, knitting, painting, really helps performers, because we really need to stop thinking sometimes, because otherwise, as I said, we bring work home. And at least for me, sewing or doing something else with my hands helps me to just have a kind of a blackout and not think. Like I just look and I do something, let's say, more mechanical. Of course, I still think, but in a different way. And you're not led to overthink, as we very often do.
And it's something, you know, that has no pressure or has no due date, or you know, that it has to be finished. It's so something that you do in your own time, and it's I can totally understand that.
Yes.
And it's creating, and it's creative.
Yeah, what I like the most is that you never know how it's going to turn out, because you can have an idea, then you go to the fabric shop, you find a wonderful fabric, which is completely different of what you thought about. And at the end of the day, you don't know what's coming out. And I like this surprise. It's like when you paint. I'm not a good painter. I tried sometimes. You start, you have a white canvas.
Yeah.
And then after a few hours, after a few days, after a few months, something happens on that white canvas. And you can't know before what's gonna turn out. Of course, you might copy something, but this is not a real, let's say, creative process. But if you just follow what's your instinct, I would say, then it's usually a great surprise. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to turn out super good. We are not Picasso or Caravaggio, but
exactly,
it's therapeutic in a way.
Yeah. And I think somehow, all these things that we do, even if it's something you don't continue with or something you continue with, but in some way it just shapes the way you think, about other things as well. So you might be sewing something, but there might be a link to another thought.
Yes, I feel like as a performer, we should explore art as much as we can, because just focusing on one thing, just singing, what's that? You need to leave to be able to express, because if you just sit, read music, do exercises, you're going to offer, let's say, an empty project, in my opinion. And it's not lost time to do other things that apparently have nothing to do with singing or with playing an instrument, but make you a more complete person, because we are persons and we are humans, and I guess we should get as much as we can from everybody, from anything.
That's so true, and it's so. I just think it's so wonderful that you, at such a young age, already acknowledge that or realize that.
Yes, I guess also my childhood helped me, because I went to a special school. I don't know if you ever heard Waldorf school.
Yeah.
And probably this helped me a lot, because we were doing a lot of things with our hands. We would embroider, we would play with clay and stuff, instead of stressing about grades, about math. Of course, we did also normal subjects, but it was never if you don't reach this level, you are not a good student or whatever. It was more like creating a 360-degree person, not just being good in math doesn't mean that you're a good person and that you can listen to others. And I think now I can really say that this really changed the way I think, even though at the time I wasn't conscious about it, but now I can tell, and I can see the difference, because I think this really shaped me in a kind of a different way, and I'm happy that that my parents sent me to this school, actually.
Yeah. And now, when you've just said you graduated, and now you are sort of stepping into, let's say, the real world of singing and opera. But this background or this type of thinking, this must probably help you as well to know that the right thing will come your way.
Well, I can't say that it's easy. I'm trying to live it in a, let's say, relaxed way, and to not to stress about too much. But still, of course, I have some days where I'm like, oh, why didn't I study medicine? would have been much easier. Why didn't I study engineering? It would have been much easier. But at the same time, when I go and sing and I know the answer because that's what I like to do. And of course, I like to do many other things. I could be something else. I could actually live without singing. I'm not obsessed. I liked it. I like it. And I love being on stage, but I'm not obsessed. That means that I could do something else, but I don't want.
Oh, you said it so well. Yeah, but I listened to a podcast about an artist who said that she started painting and she actually had a full-time job, and after she quit her job, she wanted to be a full-time artist, and suddenly all her sales dropped and she didn't sell a painting for months, and she was really doubting why she continued doing it. But then she also realized that in the quiet time, it made her think and made her and give her the time to start doing other painting works and thinking about her paintings in a different way. So sometimes I think the quiet times, or the times where nothing happens, is really the time where you have the time to think, or the time to just find out really what you want to do. And I mean, you obviously realize that what you want to do.
Yes, but in a way, like, as you said, like, everything has a reason. Everyone has a reason in our lives. So maybe even if in a certain moment you're not conscious about why something is happening or not happening, I'm quite sure that at point of your life, you're going to realize why that certain things did happen or did not happen, or why we did meet someone or we did not meet someone yet in our life. I guess it's a lifelong process, and we should just accept it, because if we don't, I mean, I would not personally live well. It's not easy to accept that maybe you go to an audition and they say no. You go to another audition, they say no, but maybe there is a reason. Exactly. Because I feel like even though our industry is not easy at all, because there are so many things going on, not really regarding talent, but some other things might help to have a career and have really nothing to do with singing and with talent or with playing an instrument. But I feel like if you offer a high quality product at a point, even though like before you there are 10 people who have, I don't know, rich parents or more connections or whatever, even though they are like that, if you have a product, they can't say no.
Exactly.
So the goal is to reach this high quality, because until now, probably I didn't reach that high quality standards, because otherwise they couldn't say no. And that's kind of pushes me to higher the standards, because, I mean, you can't say no to Bartoli or to Callas or to whoever. It's like, even if they were unknown, you can't say, oh, they are not good. It's something obvious to everyone. So even if you are competing with the artistic director daughter, they can't say that you are not good. Yeah. And I guess this gives me motivation to learn more and to become a better artist. Otherwise, I would just stay in bed and cry, because of course it's not easy. It's not easy to accept no's, but they are parts of life. And I guess when someone has a very easy start of the career, then at some point, maybe it's not going to be that easy. Because I guess we need to experience not only good things in our life. It can't be easy. At least we can make it easier if we are able to, but as humans, we need to experience good things and bad things.
Well, I spoke to Chiara Angela, the opera singer, and she said, well, that happened to her. You know, at a young age, she got so much, and, you know, she won a competition and got so many opportunities. And then suddenly she realized, but that time, you know, if she didn't step out and sort of reinvent herself, it's drying up, that the work is drying up. And she did. She stepped out and took 2 years off and then started again. And she can see it now, you know, that was not the time, you know, she was not ready for it.
Yes, unfortunately, sometimes very, very young singers are pushed on stages and they are not even psychologically ready. When you are very young, and I think when I had to sing in front of an audience when I was, 18, my approach was completely different. I was completely, let's say, free on stage because I couldn't overthink, because I didn't have like previous experience that made me overthink about a performance. Of course, now it's more difficult because I have all my memories about previous performances, maybe what went well, what went not that well. And we have a constant voice speaking in our head while we do perform. And yeah, the goal is like trying to keep this voice, but like in a helpful way, not just in a negative way. And yes, it's hard, but I think especially when we are very young, it's better to wait than to jump and like in the black, as we say in Italy. Yeah. Because I know a lot of young singers, they get a place in opera studios or places like that. They think they are done. They think they are stars. But even at university, it happens very often that you see someone who is 20 and thinks that they are Pavarotti and Callas. And they stop developing as singers and maybe also as persons. Or at least they do not develop as much as they could. Yeah. Because life, if it's too easy to get things, then you stop, like, say, making efforts. And by the age of 30, you're not interesting anymore. On the other side, if you get some no's, you're like more motivated to improve.
Yeah. And it's also, I can't remember who told me, but it was also a singer who told me that these life experiences that build the character also makes you understand the characters and the roles that you sing, you know. So it's you have to be able to almost relate with situations or have life experience to be able to sing certain roles, not necessarily relate, but you have to have life experience to sing certain roles. And he sort of said, this is why you have to live life. You know, you have to do things and go out and experience life to be able to sing specific roles.
Yes, actually, I thought a lot about that. And that's true. That's true. But actually, I think like the most important thing is to experience the world when you are a kid, actually, because it's in this part of our lives where we are more receptive and we can like develop our sensibility. And then later we can become conscious about that sensibility and bring it on stage. So I think it's more like for future parents or whatever, it's more about like letting kids experience as much as they want to get dirty, to eat sand, and afterwards they're gonna be good artists, in my opinion, because of course you can still have experiences when you're an adult, but it's never gonna be like when you were a kid, because we are like we didn't have filters and we could experience the world in a much more freer way. If I think of all my memories, childhood related memories, like I really felt everything in a different way, and remembering that helps me to shape the characters when I'm on stage.
Yeah, I can now understand why you and Sarai can be friends. Because she had that upbringing as well, where she told me that her parents gave her sort of, a free childhood, and she could explore things, and she could go in the garden and so on. And it's the same type of thing, and now all these things come back, and you are all-rounded human beings.
Yeah, I guess probably we found each other's.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's interesting. They say friendships that you build in your 20s are the real ones, because you're still young, but not a kid. So you can really see who is in front of you, and it's not just collecting friends, it's choosing friends. Maybe when you are 15, 16, you just want to have a lot of friends. But when you are, I don't know, 25, 26, whatever, it's more like, I really want to invest my time with this person. That's also true. With like, I really want to do something. Before, maybe you would just do something, go to an event, even if you didn't want to, just because, yes, it's right. And at a point, and I think like the key, at least in my personal experience, is to do what you want to do and to not to do what you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And the same with people. If you don't feel that there is something connecting you to someone, maybe it's better for the both of you to not invest your time, and to invest time with someone, like in my case, Sarai, which is like nourishing, not like taking my energy away.
Yeah, I can absolutely see why you are friends. But I have a friend that I made in kindergarten. And even before, I think even before we went to kindergarten, because we were neighbors when I was a child, when I was so young. And the strange thing is that when we see each other still now, we just carry on as if we see each other every day. It's like really, but that was not in my 20s that I met her, but that was just a childhood friend. And it's interesting how we just always, when we see each other, and I'm 59, and we still just carry on as normal.
Yes, it's wonderful. Also, when it happens that I can see my, let's say, primary school friends, it's always like that. It's
really?
In for a few hours, we are again 8-year-old.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
It's incredible what mind can do.
Yeah, no, but it's it must be that pure connection that you have with somebody at that age,
Yeah.
But now, Gaja, what are the wishes for you for the future? How would you love to see your life or your career?
It's a good question. I would like to be happy, actually. I don't know if singing is going to be part of it or not. I can't tell, because I can't predict future, but I wish I'm going to be happy and surrounded by love and by friends, and then singing can be a part of it, but it's not my focus. It's of course my hopefully future profession, because now I'm still like trying to enter in the industry, but I don't want singing to be my life. I want to be a human being, to live my life, and hopefully having singing as a part of my life. But I might be happy also in other ways. That's the thing.
That's wonderful that you know that.
Probably it helps me to survive the everyday life, actually, because otherwise I think if I would fix and like be too obsessed about it, it wouldn't be a nice experience, because it's a hard industry.
And I think life, if you look at life that way, you are more open to different experiences, different opportunities. You take on different opportunities.
Yes,
and I
definitely.
Think, I think if you're just stuck in one route, you miss all the other things that come your way because you're so blindsided by one thing.
Yes, that's true. And actually, singing is not just being on stage. It can be also teaching.
Exactly.
It has been already a few years since I've started teaching very young kids, let's say babies and toddlers. And I can bring my stage experience to them and make a simple song more interesting. And they are going to catch that from me, and probably they are going to bring that through their life. Because, we really always underestimate kids, but what they can catch since they are just a few weeks old, it's incredible. And this is another thing I love, teaching kids at very small age. And like 3 years ago, I would never have said that, even though I like kids, but I couldn't, let's say, portray me as a baby music educator. But now I do it and I love it. So you never know.
And it's, I think teaching is so important, because even if the children don't become singers or musicians, they become the audience of the future, and they need to have the appreciation for music.
Yes, and not only that, I guess they, even if like they're not gonna attend an opera ever, they're gonna be more sensitive human beings. They are gonna be nicer to others. So it's, for me, the goal is not making future musicians out of them. It's letting them experience. And they don't have to play super well or to sing super well, or they have to enjoy it. If they enjoy it, they are going to be better students in the future. They're going to be better parents. They are going to be better lovers, better friends, and everything. If they had like a fulfilling experience as very small kids, very small human beings. So I guess probably that's the key. I'm not sure, because I'm 26, but
I love what you said there. Yeah, it's absolutely. It's making them more sensitive to the world.
Yes. And like, I guess nowadays we are not that sensitive to the world, because we are like, myself, I spend hours on my phone, but we should all try to be more open and aware of what's surrounding us in the real world, not on the screen.
No, that's true. No, that's true. But Gaja, this was so great to talk to you.
It was wonderful talking to you.
You're such a lovely girl or woman.
Thank you.
And I'm so grateful that Sarai introduced me to you.
Me too. It was wonderful.
Yeah. And I hope we see each other again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe you
and I
should have a coffee. Yeah. That would be great.